Well, by this time, everybody knows Donald Trump's going to be our next president. There's some debate coming up, though, about the electoral college again. This happened last time with Al Gore, and now again with Hillary Clinton, where they win the popular vote but lose the electoral vote. There's a reason that we have the electoral college. On the surface, when you look at it and you say, well, it should be the popular vote that counts. On the surface, that makes sense until you actually start to dig into things. The reason we have the electoral college is so that, for example, in states like New York City can't always decide the whole election for the state, because New York City is only one little tiny part of the whole state. But the problem is there's so many people in New York City that if you use just a popular vote, New York City can swing the weight of the whole state and go against what everybody else in the state wants, because just one little tiny piece of the state decides that they want the election to go this way. Meanwhile, outside of the city, every single other person could decide, no, we want it to go this way, and they can still lose, and the state has no voice. That's why the electoral college is set up. Now, there are flaws in the electoral college, which I agree that, there should be some tweaking to it. My biggest thing is there's I don't know out of all of them how many can vote for in the presidential election, but there's a total of 3,143 counties and territories and the District of Columbia that make up the United States of America. So in my opinion, the way that the electoral college, if it was going to be changed, should be changed, is that you take in the popular vote from each one of those counts as one electoral vote, so that in the end you can't have a tie, because it's an odd number, so there'll never be a tie. But at the same time, you're really fitting more into the will of the people, because then if it's every county, then when in a state like New York, every county gets its voice, including the counties within New York City. So New York City can't swing the whole vote for a whole state. And the same in, say, Ohio. Cleveland can't swing a whole vote for the whole state. Illinois, Chicago can't swing the whole vote for the whole state. So I think, if they were going to do something with the electoral vote where they were going to make some tweaking, I think that would be that's the one thing that I could see changing in it that would actually still be fair, honest, and balanced. Because, like I said, there are flaws with the electoral vote, but I think the country is established enough now where that would work. I mean, there was a time where that couldn't work because the country still wasn't, especially in the beginning, it wasn't established. We were still gaining states, we were still gaining counties, we were still building cities. So, there was a lot of things going on, so that, at that time, the system that I'm suggesting wouldn't be as balanced, because you could just say, well, we're going to build a county so that we can swing an election. You can't just build a county anymore. We pretty much, the United States is the United States. I mean, is there a possibility that in the future we could get another territory? Well, yeah, maybe. I'm not sure even what all territories can vote in a presidential election. I think Puerto Rico can vote in a presidential election. But I'm not sure about like the U.S. Virgin Islands. I'm not sure if they're allowed to, if they vote in the U.S. elections. So, you know, there's some that, you know, I'm not sure. But we got, in the end though, we have a odd number of counties to make that system work that way. There was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh, Washington, D.C. Apparently, there was a vote. I don't know how I haven't looked into it yet to see how they voted. I imagine they voted against it since I haven't heard nothing about it. But apparently, Washington, D.C. wanted to vote to become a state. Actually, I guess maybe I don't want to get into that too much because I gotta look. If I remember right, it's been a long time since I studied civics. Yeah, but if I remember right, the reason Washington, D.C. is in the District of Columbia is because the District of Columbia, it's a territory of the United States, but it's not actually one of the United States. And the point was so that the capital of the United States is not in any state, because, you know, there was concerns about, there's a number of concerns with that actually. Some of it just comes down to abuse by a state, by the, as you see, which already is happening with Virginia in some ways. But then there's also the case of, you know, I mean, let's be honest, war. I mean, if the capital's in a state and it's a war like the Civil War, then you run into the problem because now you have a state that's under siege and can't be, you know, controlling the government becomes an issue because then it's not on what's considered neutral ground. I mean, you know, that's just part of it. There's a lot more to it than that. I gotta read up on that. I can't remember what all that was, but there's a reason why Washington, D.C., our state, our capital, country's capital, is not in a state. And I know there's more reasoning than what I said to it, but that's some of the reasoning. So I don't think even if they voted to become a state that they could legally become a state. So yeah, I got to look into that though to see how they voted anyway. I mean, that's just kind of just an afterthought of this video. But anyway, I guess that's it. Oh, good news. I will not be driving a truck for the rest of my life. Now that Donald Trump is a president, going to be the president, and we're finally going to have someone who's going to lead the country out of recession and not deeper into recession, that means there'll probably be job creation, which means there'll be growth over the economy as a whole, which means things like construction jobs will start coming back, which means I don't have to live like a dog for the rest of my life. Great news! Have a good day.